I'm gonna do the countdown.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, August the 7th, 2026. I'm your host, Sonia, and this is Friday with the Fellas. Welcome, James and B, as always. Hope you guys are doing well. Shout out to Pink Fan Fur on the ones and twos for the promos. And I am actually in Canton, Ohio, where all the big stuff is going down today. Super exciting. If y'all haven't seen my clips, make sure you guys check out the clips. I sent one to B, but I don't see it's uploaded to do a small little segment.
I couldn't do it.
Okay.
But I got something else just as good. So don't
okay, perfect. So thank you for that. And but yeah, guys, I'm here amidst all the action. This is a very, very busy week this week, and I'm on a new device, so hopefully I'm looking where I'm supposed to look. It's just really weird tonight. But anyway, I want to be on for at least a few minutes to ensure that I got a chance to talk to everybody and say hello. And yeah, my Panthers got it done. 2 seconds left on the clock, 33-30 over the Arizona Cardinals. And that game was really, really good, y'all. I mean, this was one of those games that was a back and forth duel the entire time. Oh, looks like I've blocked myself. Sorry, guys. Looks like it was a back-to-back duel the entire time, and this game just did not disappoint. Well-attended crowd here in Canton. Beautiful weather in the 70s last night during the game. I mean, it was warm, but not super hot like most of us have been for this whole year. And both teams in the first quarter, I mean, I know that you and James watched this. Just going to do like a quick little rundown and then let you guys talk about it. I was just excited just to be there. We'll talk about, of course, all of those amazing gentlemen that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame that will be ceremoniously inducted on tomorrow at noon here in Canton. And tonight they are actually at a dinner tonight for the newest inductees. And earlier today, they had some things going on. I wish I had known. I would have been down at the actual stadium. I saw Drew Brees coming in. Also Luke Kuechly, and there were a lot of those people that were there last night. And even though I was right behind the team diagonally, I did not get a chance to see them. But this game was really big. Both teams trading off. We saw Carson Beck, former UGA, former Miami, Number 19 for the Cardinals was getting it done. He looked good. It was great to see him out there. And this was a defensive stand. When it comes down to it, this was a defensive matchup that was what actually, and great scoring, like 33-30 was the very end. That means both teams were offensively present. They both were executing. Very minimal penalties throughout this game. And neither offense actually broke into the end zone, though. At the first quarter, it was 0-0. So everything kind of heated up a little bit in the second quarter. I guess they were waiting for me to get there because I was literally outside the stadium for 20 minutes trying to open up the barcode on my phone. Thumbs down to SeatGeek. There were a lot of people out there could not even open up their apps because Canton was not prepared for this influx of attendees. I think they said this is one of the more well-attended games. And of course, this weekend, you guys know a lot of people love Drew Brees. A lot of people love him nationwide. And a lot of the Saints are in town. I saw a lot of them in Cleveland yesterday when I landed. So a lot of them are flying into Cleveland to come in. And then a lot of people love Luke Kuechly. All of the inductees, but those are the two bigger names, and they're expecting over 100,000 attendees at the parade in the morning because it's so big. And I've been to that parade. It did not look like 100,000 people were out there, but I can believe it's going to be like that on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. But Kenny Pickett, y'all, I mean, he did open up at quarterback for the Panthers before Haynes King came in. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But 24-point quarter in that second quarter between both teams. Both teams, the offense got started and just stayed started. We saw there was the pass that went down to Jasim Reed was a solid pass from Kenny Pickett. Then A.J. Dillon, you guys remember him. We saw him. He added a rushing touchdown. And then quarterback Carson Beck actually pushed Arizona down into a 17-17 tie up leading into halftime. Guys, I'll bring you guys in just as we get to the halftime mark here. And some people said they saw me on Jumbotron. I didn't see it. I don't know if it aired or not. I guess these were people that were just in the vicinity. They said it aired on Peacock and something else, but there were people elbowing me and my friends saying they saw us on the Jumbotron. So I missed one of these key things because I'm being distracted around people around us. But did you guys get a chance to watch the game? And if so, what were your thoughts up to the halfway part?
Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to say, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to say 6 words about this game. Who dat, and who dat. It has nothing to do with anything about the game, but everything regarding to Drew Brees in getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I am here to tell everybody I'm a fan. I'm always been a fan of Drew Brees, and he's getting in the Hall of Fame. Shout out to my man going into the Hall of Fame. He'll be there tomorrow. I'll be watching. But typically, Hall of Fame games are some of the most boring games ever, and I rarely watch them, but this was a very entertaining game. I thought that the offenses of both teams were lighting up both defenses. At first, it seemed to be a defensive game where a couple of players got sacked in the beginning, but then the second quarter, as you said, they just started lighting it up. And then it all started with Carson Beck to Brooks, the wide receiver that's been in the league for about 2 or 3 years. But he was just, for whatever reason, they have a connection, and it was just showing all over the field in the beginning. He caught 3 passes for 99 yards, no TDs, including one 49-yarder that he obviously took a major hit. They got a penalty, but he held onto the ball. Yeah. That was just an excellent an excellent pass catch and reception. And I was like, okay, this looks like this is going to be a decent game to watch, because not only did they score a touchdown there, but Carolina right off the bat, and they came back and scored themselves. And so it just went tit for tat throughout the second quarter and then third. And then, of course, you see Haynes King lighting it up, showing that he's got something to prove, as if, he's a late round draft pick. But, of course, we got to temper expectations on all these players, because, I mean, they're playing vanilla defenses, and they're going against second and third stringers. But I will say, Haynes King, man, he put up some excellent numbers, and he put, especially on the ground, he looks like he's real
24 for
talented.
31. 24 for
Yeah,
31.
yeah, and he ran that long 20 towards
Yes.
that long 26 yarder, got out of
Touchdown
bounds,
conversion.
and was able to score with a walk off touchdown running into the end zone, and it was just amazing. I mean, then clearly his knee wasn't on the ground, stretched out for the end zone, and that was just an exciting game. You could see Bryce Young on the side,
Mm-hmm.
excited for his teammate, and the coach, they're all excited to get the win in that fashion. And that's what you want to see with football starting out as an inaugural game, to be able to get excited about the upcoming season coming. And I know it got me excited. I'm not going to lie. I'm on the edge of my seat watching a game like that. And this is just the first preseason game happening. But again, a lot of great stats, and these players are going to be fighting for positions to get either second or third string. Carson Beck, he showed me some stuff, and I listened to our our guys this morning talk about him. One was thinking that Carson Beck was in Jack was gonna is gonna do show some things that he can be a real true starter, which I agree with. But Keith is like temper expectations because like what I mentioned. But I really think Carson Beck he played at Miami, like he played at Georgia. He looks like he could play in the NFL, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just with ease, and he knew the plays, and him and that receiver, like I said, had a great connection, and I think he's going to give the guy just got a year contract, Brissett. He's going to give Brissett a run for his money to start at some point at the end. I mean, during the season or toward the end of the season, and to be the number one guy there.
I believe that because I don't normally get excited about preseason like that. And it wasn't just because I'm here, it's because the game was really that good. And even though these are secondaries, it made me feel great as a Panthers fan to know, okay, at least we have a solid QB2. I feel confident that in the grand scheme of things, that things would just get better. I mean, you mentioned some of the numbers. AJ Dillon had 3 carries, 18 yards, 1 touchdown. Carson Beck, 15 for 19, 1 touchdown, 189 yards, no interceptions. Haynes King, go ahead and crown him. 21 for 34, like I mentioned earlier, 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. One of those was rushing, and the game winner with 2 seconds left on the clock. I mean, B, I know it's the preseason and a lot of people don't get excited. And did we lose B?
He got that excited, and
He got
he
that
couldn't
excited.
contain.
Look, I know he was mad anyway, but I guess it's me and you, so it's the NFC South show anyway, for real, for real. But the Who Dats, is all great. Those the enshrinement people, but this Pro Football Hall of Weekend has been great. The gold jacket dinner is what's going on tonight, of course. Luke Kuechly, a lot of shout out to a lot of I saw a lot of Panthers fans in the stands yesterday. A lot of them said they did make the trip from Charlotte. Um, I think I'm the only one from Atlanta that came up as a Panthers fan, but I'm here and the class of 26 though, they are receiving these iconic gold jackets in front of the returning Hall of Famers. That's tonight. That's going on right now. Private event in the morning, 8 a.m. This grand parade. It's an annual parade through downtown Canton, Ohio, celebrating the newest inductees. If you are going and you're watching, first of all, I hope you're not driving from out of state this late in the game because the traffic has been thicker than I could ever remember. But then they're having the enshrinement ceremony. Starts at 11:30 a.m. The official induction of Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, Roger Craig, and Adam Vinatieri. Let me apologize. The last few shows we've done, I don't know why I had in the back of my mind. I've been saying Roger Steinbach. Every time I talked about him, I've been saying Roger Steinbach. So last night it dawned on me, girl, it's been crazy. Like I saw his name and I was like, Craig. And I'm like, oh my God, I've literally been saying Steinbach on the show for about 4 or 5 weeks at least. So it's Roger Craig and then Adam Vinatieri, of course. Adam was at the game last night, saw him there. I got to get a new camera. Let's just put it like that. But I got his most. I haven't posted the photos I have, but I will be posting them once everything has kind of. This is Tom Benson Hall of Fame, and tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I'm glad to know this because I'm going to try to make sure I'm still over there. they are doing an autograph session. The newest enshrinees will be doing an autograph session for memorabilia signing. Now, I am going to be going to the Hall of Fame actual museum, and this is where they generally will be. Now, this is the thing. If they're signing memorabilia, that means there's some funds being coughed up. They're just not up there signing your t-shirts or something like that. And let me tell y'all what's really bumming me out. So my god brother happened to call me. He's like, sis, I know you wore your Kuechly jersey. And I'm like, I don't have a Kuechly jersey. He's like, yes, you do. The autographed Kuechly jersey I got you a couple years ago for your birthday. Y'all, I have an official Luke Kuechly jersey that he autographed. And I remember saying I didn't want to wear it because I don't want to wear the signature with the autograph or whatever. And I remember him telling me like, no, you can wear it one day. He's going to go into the hall. And I completely forgot I have it because it's in a box. Like it's like in a decorative box because I don't want it exposed to the elements. I forgot I even owned it. The one time in my life that I should have worn this jersey is tomorrow for him to be inducted. And I don't have it. So I had to settle for this Luke Kuechly autographed t-shirt that he has. His autograph is on it. And I'm going to get some more Luke stuff tomorrow. But I'm glad I realized I have an actual jersey because I have been trying to order one.
I'm going to have to say that you lucked out not wearing that. I mean, if it's already signed and you keeping it clean, anything can happen to that, bringing that down there. You did the right thing by forgetting to not wear that. Yeah. And being that he went to the Hall of Fame, it's going to be worth more money, pristine.
Oh, dang, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because and then if you're flying instead of driving, now your luggage is somewhere. I would have had to like have that shirt on my person just in case
some goof might accidentally knock some drink on you, anything, just all kind of stuff. Yeah,
you'd be really fighting then.
I can see if it wasn't signed. It's already signed.
Keep that boy in the box. Where's that?
Yeah, I remember because when he sent it to me, the first thing I thought was like, "Oh my god!" Like I cried. He had written me a little thank you note and stuff because his parents, his dad is our minister, and he's also my frat brother. So he was thanking me for he was like, "Happy birthday and thanks for looking out for mom." And I was like, "Dude, this is like." Expensive, like it's not like he was like, yeah, but I know you love him and I know you'll take care of it and I just was floored. Like I was floored and I wanted to preserve it so much that I totally forgot I even owned it.
It's all good. I'm glad you made that mistake.
Yeah, but that's the best mistake you made in your life, right there.
So B, what do you think about the game?
Oh, it was entertaining. And again, we gotta pause what we saw out there because like James said, it is preseason, vanilla defenses, vanilla offenses. It's just basically you're playing basic street football out there at one point, and then you got twos going against threes going against fours. The depth is showing out there. 3 of the 4 quarterbacks that were out there played pretty well. Of course, the fourth quarterback I'm talking about is Arizona's quarterback that took over there in the end. He wasn't all that great. He wasn't all that great. But King and Beck, man, the poise between them two quarterbacks. Again, you understand the situation that they're in, but to come out there and play as well as they did, and King, I came out there. You're right. He is the one that won that game for Carolina because he had a chip on his shoulder and he was going to show it. Look, I'm beating this because they have Beck and him have a thing from Georgia Tech and Georgia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They had they played against each other. Georgia won in double overtime. I think it was 44-40 or something like that. But they have a thing going on.
Quarterback, that's crazy. Yeah. I didn't even say.
Yeah, so I think he just had something to prove, and I think I'm sorry I got to say this, but Bryce better watch himself. He better do good this year because I'm telling you right now, Kenny Pickett ain't no slouch, and that King kid, he's coming. He's coming.
Yeah, I've said the same thing in my mind. Like Bryce, this ain't the year to be slipping because your job is literally right there. Like I could look at King as quarterback 1.5, not even a 2. So that's how close it is because this is Bryce's make or break year anyway. They've already sat him down a couple of seasons ago for Andy Dalton. Bless you, James. So, like we're already in a position because we're already in that position to move forward. Like we've already gotten everybody coming up, everybody bringing in, and I'm just pleased that Dan Morgan, like the way he burned those timeouts with the last few seconds to avoid the runoff, I was just like, this is mastery, clock management. Hi Dizzle. This is just mastery. It's not, in my opinion, it's not just about defense. It's about game clock management. Because if you mismanage that clock and say you're up 3, you are done. You have lost your game and don't even know it because you've left time on the clock and all they need is a touchdown to win. Or say you are only up by a couple of points and a field goal wins it. If you mismanage that clock, and we've seen it. I met a Ravens fan last night, and I don't even know the guy's name, some young kid. He just came up. He was like, congratulations, you guys look great. Da, da, da. I said, man, what happened to y'all? I said, by the way, why y'all let Harbaugh go? He was like, because Harbaugh didn't know how to manage the game. And he was just saying in general. And I was like, as a non-Raven fan, not that I don't like them, but I just don't really follow them except to talk about when they have stuff going on. You don't really see that unless you're watching Ravens games. You're just seeing wins and losses, unless you're watching them because they're on or because they're playing your team. It was masked, at least for me, very well. I never noticed that. And I thought that there was, a connection of, tenure between the organization and him, but they were like, no. And then the guy said to me, he said, well, look at what he's doing in New York. He just got there and they've already got 4 players injured and the season hasn't even started. I said, God, that he runs players into the ground, really. And so, I know right now, Jahmyr Gibbs actually agreed today. He finally got this contract he's been waiting for. He's the highest paid running back in the league, according to NBC Sports. I didn't even realize he signed today.
He signed yesterday, actually.
Okay, signed yesterday. Okay, so I've been off the grid. But when you talk about things like that, just tying this into here, and I might be able to hang out with you guys a little bit past the 30-minute mark. I'm not. Tonight's a chill night. Just don't really like that parade is at 8 o'clock. I was hoping the parade was after the enshrinement, like after the ceremony. Just seems like it makes more sense. And now knowing I've got to get up early, y'all know I'm not a morning person. So just not happy about that.
Lots of coffee. Lots.
The early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, you guys do know that Ohio is a dispensary-friendly state, though. I didn't know that. It's just, they got all kind of stuff here.
They need to be some. Never mind.
It's the newest. It's the newest northern Nevada. But okay. So I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? Let's talk about any other news I might have missed, guys. If so, my apologies in advance.
Well, this is just to expand on King. Hayes King, you want to give credit to Dan Moore, but I think Hayes King was the one you need to give credit to, really. He came out there poised. That dude was focused, and he did a lot of that time saving on his own. I think the most impressive play of the last drive wasn't just the touchdown.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was that one when he ran.
Yep.
And he hit that linebacker square and knocked the linebacker down. And I was like, dang, he done pile drive that dude. And
third down conversion.
I was like, that is what you want to see in quarterbacks. That's what's called the leadership right there. You're going to take it within your own just to get down the field because you got to score a touchdown to win the game. And he was so focused, including when they had the 6 seconds left, he had to spike the ball. He knew what he had to do. He got up there, did what he said. He was like, everybody, come on. He had the poise and the control to get that line down there and spike that ball so he can get that touchdown. And again, Arizona was playing a really loose defense, which is preseason. So, I mean, I can't really. It is what it is. So, but the guy was poised all the way down the field for that last drive. I said 2 minutes left, rookie quarterback. I don't know. I mean, he's been playing good all game. I'll give him that. But I was like, we'll see. And sure enough, that dude had everything. He had all the weapons. You know, he did everything he had to do to get down there. That is leadership in a quarterback, and that guy's going to go places because you don't see that in a lot of quarterbacks, even when they're rookies.
Not only that, James, it's like you and B can agree. I don't know if they put Pickett in just because he already's been in the league, so people already know him, and they're like, okay, let's see what King can do. Because, you know, a part of me was like, they're pulling Pickett out already. Like, he was just there for a glance, really. This is really about seeing if King could be crowned into the league, period. Like, if he has the potential or if we about to make some more cuts before the regular season starts. And they were doing a whole breakdown. I did this research. Well, I didn't do the research. It just popped up in some reading I was looking at about how much these players are making before the season is actually, you know, in fruition and the roster is actually finalized. They only make, well, to me, it's not a lot, like $15,000. I think it's a week for practice, for off practice. Those are the rookies. But the regular people, you know, they make their regular like 40,000 or whatever. But if they don't get a call when this, like when all the preseason is over with, they all like wait on calls again, just like they do on draft night. That's how they let them know. If they don't hear anything, they're safe. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no news is good news. But if, you know, everybody's holding their breath, like, I don't want a call. This is the call I don't want. Like, I wanted a call to be drafted. Now I don't want a call to be released because that may be their last exposure and that's their last check. That's their last check that they've had to pay taxes on wherever they're practicing at. And that could be the end of it. So just these few weeks of money, and it's not a lot considering the millions of dollars that, you know, players get. And, you know, some of them have endorsements and whatnot. But I just thought about it, you know, like Kenny Pickett was signed to a 1-year deal. I know they'll still have him, but now we have 3 quarterbacks. But I feel like this one is going to be a one and done for him. If we continue to see King, and of course, like you said, B, this is a glass half empty game. It's, you know, the more thrill about it is, okay, football is back, like Liz said. And how do you two sis? I forgot to say it. I gave you the heart, but I forgot to say it. The main thing is everybody's happy because football is back. And this is the striking of the match of the new season. And because the biggest thing this week is not that game, it's the inductees into the Hall of Fame. That's the biggest news. And they give you like this little I don't want to say amateur, but it's more like a display of a game, advertisement of a game, just to put on, you know, put
an
on
audition.
The whole thing.
It's a side note.
Yes, it's as a side note. Production, I should say, a production that they put, you know, and there's an A word that I just can't think of right now, but it's not amateur. It's basically when you're putting something on just as a side part of the bigger picture. Having a brain freeze. But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. I'll think of it later and be like
advertisement?
No, not an advertisement. It's like when you put on something like a production, but you're putting it on as part of the bigger scheme. It's not the main show. It's like a
side attraction, or
yeah, it's kind of, you could say side attraction, or like when, you know, like big artists have the little artists come out and introduce and they perform or whatever. It's not the main event. I guess that's the way I can say it with the boxing.
The warm-ups, they warm it up.
The opening act. The opening act.
Yeah, there you go. Opening act. So that's what it is. But for me as a Panthers fan, I was so happy to see that it was a really good game. Like, either way, I mean, I would have probably been mad, let's be honest, because I don't want to have any L's. But to see it was that the game was just that competitive. And I was thinking, like, I had put my videos up. I was like, dog, I should have muted them because you'll hear me in the background towards the end just standing up like I'm not a real game. After the first and second quarter, I cheered a little bit. But that fourth quarter, I was like on my feet, like screaming, like, yeah, don't run it. No, don't run it. Don't, you know.
I actually think I heard you in the telecast screaming because I said, wait a minute, there's this one distinct scream I'm hearing all the time. I said, this got to be Sonia.
What happened?
No, when we were watching the telecast, I heard somebody screaming, and it was coming from the end zone. And I was like, I wonder if that's Sonia.
Oh, my God. It might have been because I was right there. I literally was right there in the end zone.
It was a distinct female scream, and I was like, "Yeah, I think that's probably Sonya because it is at that end of the stadium."
Yeah, so nobody was screaming really in my section, so it probably was me with this raspy voice. Now you're gonna make me want to go find it, see like. And I'm just gonna screenshot it and circle. This is my voice. So people will be like, "What?" Like this nobody. But yeah,
we know that screen with your niece's graduation, everything. Yes. We know where Sonya's out there letting it loose.
I'm screaming for the Panthers and for Pearson, the 2 P's. So yeah, but that's funny because I remember Trina's with my friend, and she was like, "Girl, you are so hyped up." I was like, "Yes, I don't know every game." So it probably was me because you guys could see the pictures that I was literally right there, like row 3 or 4, right on the end zone. So yeah.
So did you want to relive that experience?
Oh my gosh, do you have
video?
That?
Yes. Well, I don't have you, but I have the whole last drive, the last play of the game for the Panthers.
Yes, I do want to see it. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Box. Quarterback throw. Another chance.
Game on the line. King, he's going to step up. Pumps, runs, goal line. Is he in? Yes! Carolina wins! Game's king. King of the night.
Look at him.
Whole team's out there mobbing him.
It's party time in Canton, Ohio.
Yes, sir. Mobbing on them. I'm telling you.
That was a great call by Mike Tirico. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I thought Pat McAfee was there because when the voice that was doing all the audibles there, I was like, "Is Pat in here?" But then it wasn't. And everything they did, the sidebars were literally right in front of me, and I didn't realize. I was looking all the way down the side, like, where's these people coming? And then it dawned on me when they did one of the like little games and stuff. Thanks for that, B. That is amazing. Yeah, I'm super thrilled. It's been great, and we ran down the other end. And just as that last footage, I was recording with both my Meta glasses and my phone. My phone died right after they mobbed the field, so I just was able to get it. And then I ran. I was like, everybody was like on the field. It was crazy. You would have thought it was not preseason. It did not give a preseason energy, like y'all said. Preseason is usually just to say it was on in the background. At least that's how I've been. Like, oh, okay, the last few seconds, what's the score? You know, who's winning? Okay, it don't count anyway. That's usually the attitude. But this time it was like, I don't know. I really felt like, because Kings brought so much energy. I just saw like, you just don't see this from this type of game. It's always like like y'all said, this is just the B and C squad playing to see who can keep a spot on the team. But not for me. I didn't think that. I was like, if we have that as a QB backup, we're going to be okay for the season. That's how I took that. We have some insurance in case the worst happens or in case we're not satisfied with the product we already have.
And we'll just hope for everybody's health to stay out there.
Yeah.
Because, you guys already have suffered a couple of real bad injuries where they're out for the season. Unfortunately, for one of those was Brazil. He's your receiver,
Brazil.
Yep. Yeah. And I would have liked to see him. He probably would have been playing had he not got injured. Nick Scorton, of course, probably would not have. But it's just you got to look at these kids too, and they're kids. Basically, a lot of these players that are playing at that time of the game are kids. They're just coming out of college. They're getting these free passes. There's just some guys that haven't made teams that want to, and it's to have a game like that for them. They're going to take that with them through their whole life, even if it is a preseason game, because it's something that they participated in and they feel good that they won and they worked hard to do. And especially with Haynes King, that dude is going to remember that game for a long time.
He got mobbed. I mean, everybody was. It was crazy.
And that's going to go on his resume, and it's going to look good for him. I mean, it's a game that don't count, essentially. But at the same time, the dude, he showed a lot of – I was so surprised at how he got down the field like that. He showed immaculate leadership.
That
Well, let's
that's
not
what you
forget.
want to see quarterback.
Let's not forget that he's ACC Player of the Year last year, and so
That's true too. Yep.
Georgia Tech they were in the runnings for a little while with him at the helm. So he might be a bit of a steal, and then of course I think he's probably someone that may jump Kenny Pickett for the number 2 job.
Yeah.
But we got to see. Let's just give time. The time will tell. But his talent definitely was on display last night in that game. And so I hats off to Carolina for having him as their draft pick, one of their draft picks, and hats off to Carolina for the win. But yeah, I think that he played like an excellent game. At first, I thought it was like, who's this kid? He's overthrowing Jimmy Horn Jr. in the end zone, and he knew he made a mistake. But then after that, there were no mistakes allowed because he settled down and just started carving up that defense like it was a Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah.
And I mean, he was the hero of the game, but let's not forget Carson Beck too. Carson Beck came out there balling too, and if it wasn't for the fact that they had another quarterback that they wanted to look at, he would have played the whole game. That would have been an epic game, a really epic game, because really you left it to the you left Arizona to the graces of their backup quarterback. Hey, he played okay. He wasn't great though. But Carson Beck came out there and he had a fire under him too. So let's give credit due to Arizona as well. I wouldn't be surprised that he's closer to taking over the position of starting quarterback than Hayes King is. But at the same time, Brissett better watch his back too. You get all that money, you better go out there and prove the reason why you got that money, because if you don't, that rookie's going to come for you. And I'm sure he's like looking at that like, you know what, dude, you about this close. That close to give me the ball.
Yeah.
Brissett, they need to call him the bridge quarterback because that's just what it is. He got an incentive-based 1-year contract. He's a bridge quarterback. And so it's at some point, it's going to be Carson Beck's job to lose because he's the guy that they drafted in the 3rd round. And that's not high, but it's still high enough to say that we want somebody to come in. And he's got some players around him. He's got Mark. He might be the player that can pull out some of the best in Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's been a bit of a funk. And also you got Michael, I forgot the other kid's name on the other side. That's number 2. He got really good run. He got really, really good receivers, 1-2 combo. And Wilson. And he has that running back, that shiny new toy that they drafted. And with a couple of other guys that are backing him up, including Bam Knight that played last night. That played well, and you got James Conner and you got Trey Benson. So that offense might be something legit that people might be sleeping on, and we might see. Who knows if San Francisco is going to be any good with all their injuries. I think Arizona may be on the come up for that 3rd place in the NFC West. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I think it has to do a lot with their offensive line too. Their offensive line isn't the greatest, so that's where it's really going to fall on. And I do think that there's going to be Bam Knight. I'd be looking out for his job too, because fumbling the ball, he had a couple moments where he lost the ball, and that's not good in a preseason game. Coaches watch that kind of stuff, and if you've got all these running backs in line, dude. Bye.
Yeah, ball security. And
ball security.
I know we got to run a quick little commercial here. Let me just give you guys some quick stats. That game last night, of course, 33-30 was the final score, and the victor goes to King and the Carolina Panthers. They were crowned last night the preseason champs for the beginning of the new 26-27 season. Total net yards for Carolina, 395, 424 for Arizona. Passing yards, 256 for the Panthers, 284 for Arizona. Rushing yards, only 1 yard difference. The Carolina Panthers had 139, the Cardinals 140. Another very close comparison. First downs, Carolina had 23, Arizona had 22. 3rd down efficiency, 64% for the Panthers, 58% for the Cardinals. Turnovers, 0, both teams. Very, very good game. between both B squads, C squads for the teams. Of course, I don't think, like B said and James said, I don't believe Carson Beck is going to be your B or C squad. I think he's moving up to A quicker than we think. I also believe that our quarterback 3, Haynes, will be moved up from C to B, B plus possibly. So hopefully everyone stays as healthy as possible. Doesn't need to really take a break. But this is also a good thing that even if your players are healthy as the season progresses, because Carolina happens to have a very early bye this season, we're going to be exhausted by the end of the year. Our bye, I believe, is week 4 or 5. It's crazy. We're gonna
vanilla defense though.
Yeah, we're gonna be burned out. But with that being said, that may give us an opportunity to see King maybe if we advance in the postseason a little bit, so we can kind of rest Bryce up a little bit when it counts. I got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the inductees, just some little brief information where they're from, and we'll cover all the other sports news from today. We'll be back in about a minute, guys. See you soon. All right, guys, we are back. Welcome to the second half of our show, Friday with the Fellas. I'm B. I'm not B. I'm with B and James tonight. I'm Sonia. And welcome back, guys. All right, so unlike the Baseball Hall of Fame, you guys know about that, the Pro Football Hall of Fame doesn't actually induct players under a single specific team, cap, or the franchise itself. But they do, all teams that player specifically played for are actually listed on their official plaques. However, each inductee is strongly associated with the primary franchise where they made their biggest mark. We're going to start out with a little bit of background. This is the biggest name, just ahead of my person, and it's going to be evident tomorrow and throughout this weekend as you see the infiltration of Saints fans. None other than Drew Brees going in as quarterback. Played for the New Orleans Saints from 2006 to 2020, which was the bulk of his time. He also played for the Chargers, which is the team that drafted him in 2001 through 2005. Selected in the second round of that 2001 NFL draft. He earned Comeback Player of the Year in 2004 before having a severe shoulder injury in 2005. And that's what led the Chargers to move on to Phillip Rivers. And then it was all go. It was TTG from here on out. He was not just a Comeback Player of the Year in 2004. He would epically change the face of New Orleans football from 2006, signing with the Saints in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. And from that, it was lights out. James, I know this is your quarterback, so I'll let you go into the other beauty of who he is. Of course, I have my little notes here, but this is your quarterback. This guy is first ballot. This is amazing. This is amazing. I love Drew Brees. That's I've always loved him. People know that. I just love him as who he is with the franchise of the Saints. Of course, he had his Charger time, but what he's done for the city of New Orleans is just very humanitarian of who he is.
So when the Saints were in the NFC Championship for the 2009 season against Minnesota, a lot was based off of it was just a lot of emotions that were occurring for me watching the game. I was sitting at home by myself. My wife was upstairs, and it came down to the overtime when they kicked that field goal. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't know if that had happened or not. I stood up, screamed out loud. I'm pretty sure my neighbors heard me. My hands were in the air, and I just like got a call from my mother-in-law, and we both were like almost in tears because there was a lot of devastation that had came up to that point. A lot of built up tension, a lot of built up emotions, a lot of different things that had happened. You know, people, my family, people of the city had been involved in Katrina. If people can recollect and know what happened and how everything went through, but a lot of people don't really know the stories anecdotally, or really probably don't have the experience if they hadn't been there or had been affiliated with anybody that might have been attached to that storm and how bad it was for them in their lives. And so people to come back, New Orleans was really bad. The Saints were bad in 2005. And so 2006, you got Sean Payton. We don't know what to expect as a new head coach coming in town. I don't know who he is from Adam. And of course, I know who Drew Brees is. And I'm like, oh, is he going to be okay? Because he's had that arm injury. And, he went to Miami. He had a failed physical there. And so he came to New Orleans. I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be the same old Saints, I guess. I don't know what we're doing here. And then we draft Marcus Colston in the 7th round. You think this is some guy that's going to get cut. And you got Jari Evans drafted in the 4th round. I don't know who that guy is. We get Reggie Bush in the 2nd overall pick. So you think maybe he's the savior of the team. Then all of a sudden, you see in his first season, the home game in New Orleans with the Gleason punt block and everybody's lighting the stadium up. And then, of course, these games start piling up. We start piling up wins. And it's like, Drew Brees looks good, man. That Marcus Colston guy looks pretty good. And, they're running the ball. They got a 3-headed monster with their running backs. And, and then all of a sudden, we're in the NFC Championship the first year out of Katrina, post-Katrina. And, of course, we lose to Chicago. They go on and lose to Indianapolis. But, I start seeing this offense. We go 8-8 the next 2 seasons, but Drew Brees is throwing for 5,000 yards. I'm like, ain't nobody throwing for 5,000 yards since Dan Marino. And that was like 24 years that the record stood that, I'm like, well, Drew Brees and Sean Payton have shown me something. And that 2009 season, man, it's just, again, we got our Super Bowl, and Drew Brees is going on to show some great things, not only on the field, but off it. He's a pillar of the community in that city. He's got a lot of records in the NFL. But I think what Drew Brees what he means to the city is not just about football. It's about coming at the right place at the right time after Katrina and all the things that he's done for that city. He'll still be the toast of the town until the day he dies there. And I really want to say congratulations, Drew Brees. It is well-deserved and well-earned, and you deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I wish the talent in your arm could have stayed longer. You could have been a New Orleans Saints grade out there, but that's not reality. But you will always be a legendary, the greatest New Orleans Saint there, and one of the greatest of all time in the NFL to do it.
Absolutely. And congratulations to him. B, I know you had a chance to witness this change. I mean, do you remember him in San Diego? I mean, it's been so many years. We tend to kind of just remember the most influential, because I forgot that he played for the Chargers at all. All I know is Drew Brees the Saint. Like, that's all I know. It's almost like as soon as you think New Orleans, as soon as you think at least Saints, the next thought in your mind immediately is like, it's like Saint, Brees, Saint, Brees. Like, you just automatically. And I mean, to see this maturation, I mean, talk about how the universe spent that. Comeback Player of the Year. To me, that was prophetic. That was a prophetic introduction into the phase that nobody saw coming. James just said it. when he changed from there, after that he had this injury. Some players never come back from that, but it had already been written. This guy is comeback player of the year. He would never go back. He is come back now. What were your thoughts on this? I mean, especially, it's no shocker. First, this dude as a rival to my team has been a thorn in our side, and I love him. I've watched games that we're not even playing the Saints just so I can see Drew Brees.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego hasn't been really the essence of quarterback controversies. Eli Manning, for one, didn't want to go to San Diego. It wasn't a very good thing for Brees either. His time in San Diego wasn't very good. It was okay, but it wasn't great. And he had that shoulder injury. Ryan Leaf was another guy.
Yes.
Didn't make it in the Chargers. So Chargers got pretty bad quarterback history as far as that's concerned until they got Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers adjusted that franchise. And I think it was just meant to be. Sometimes the NFL guys will put people in certain places just to make those teams relevant. And I think for San Diego at the time, it was Phillip Rivers. For New Orleans to get Drew Brees, it was there. And then you had the whole Katrina thing happen. And let's not forget, Drew Brees was a big part of that, but there was the whole team itself. I mean, fate was inevitable for that team that went to the Super Bowl. It was inevitable. They just played outstanding. They got when they needed to make a play in that season, they made it. And when you see that starting to happen with teams, you know they're destined to be great. It's kind of like what we saw in Seattle last year. Seattle made plays. They made plays, and you saw, oh, they ain't messing around. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they got to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. So you can see that as a season progresses with that. And let me tell you something. Me personally, I got Drew Brees as my second best quarterback ever because the dude, he threw from multiple 5,000-yard seasons. He's a great leader. I mean, even during the time of Katrina, like I said, it's not what you do necessarily on the field, but what you do off the field too that counts. And that dude was so in tune with that community. And you don't see that a lot from football players. They're in tune with their community, but not that in tune with their community. And then on top of that, he had a wife. Didn't his wife have cancer too?
No.
No.
Drew Brees' wife did?
I think she may have. I'm not sure. I think she may have.
I didn't realize that.
I thought she had cancer for a minute. She went to remission, but he was with her when he was fighting with that whole situation.
I'm not sure. I got to look that up. I'm not sure.
I thought his wife had cancer, but anyway, but the guy is just. He's a leader. That's why, this is what I chide Tom Brady for. And Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's a leader, in my opinion. It ain't got nothing to do with what you do on the field. Yes, he's won a lot of Super Bowls. I could care less about that because that's the team around him too. But being a leader puts that team around you. And that's what Drew Brees did. He got to several playoff games. Unfortunately, he only got to one Super Bowl. But I'm telling you, the dude he made that team a contender every year. And you can't get that from a lot of quarterbacks. He is, like Rod Dizzle said, he is a national treasure because that dude is a leader.
Yes, I was just
so much respect for him.
Brittany Brees never had cancer. However, her mother, Mina, passed away in 2009.
Oh yeah,
as a result,
it was.
As a result, they founded the Brees Dream Foundation, which is founded to support cancer patients and children in need. So, but Brittany herself was never diagnosed, but it would have been her.
Sorry about that, Brittany.
Mom, Drew Brees' mother, actually passed away, and it's so weird how they say that because it doesn't say that the mom passed away from cancer. It just says after the mom passed away, they started supporting cancer. So it's just kind of like you kind of just put two and two together. But
I knew it was some family. It was either his wife or his mom. Yeah, I couldn't. I remember he was fighting with her though. He was.
They weren't close, right? There was some stuff going on.
Yeah. So
yes. All right. So congratulations to Drew. Like everyone says, national treasure. And I said that early on. A lot of people are not even Saints fans, but they are Drew Brees fans. They love him. He's just seems to be a very humble and amazing guy. And I watched a clip of him arriving at the game at the field today afterwards, and people were coming up and everything. He didn't seem bothered. He seemed appreciative. He seemed intentional, in actually interacting with the fans that were there. All right, so I'm going to go to the next person because this is my particular person, Luke Kuechly, linebacker, primary team, Carolina Panthers, and only Carolina Panthers. Not really. Yes, really. 2012 through 2019, 7 seasons. Selected number 9 overall in 2012 out of Boston College by my Panthers. I still remember that draft night. He actually established himself as one of the most dominant and cerebral middle linebackers in NFL history. Won AP Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012. So right out the bat, coming out there winning. Immediately followed up with AP Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. So they were like, this dude is not just a good rookie. He's great amongst everybody. And then over 8 seasons, he anchored that defense. I saw that. He was, they used to call him and Greg Olsen assault and battery. Luke just was that anchor. I mean, and you have to think about 8 seasons. He's right there in the Charlotte area. He anchored the defense, 7 Pro Bowls, 5 first-team All-Pro selections, leading Carolina to Super Bowl 50 appearance. That was so pivotal for us. He retired in 2019 after receiving 1,092 nods of tackles that he's done, 18 interceptions, and 12.1 tackle ranking per game, highest average in NFL history. And of course, for Panthers fans, we know that Luke and his wife, they have children. One of their sons was born with a cardiac issue, so he's very involved with Children Levine's Hospital there. He's given a lot of his time and money and everything into bringing awareness about children's health and things. And they just, we absolutely love him and Kara. They are still connected with the team. He's out there working with the team. Even, now everyone loves Luke. He's on one of our special teams. And I'm just excited. It will be super excited if I'm able to meet him and Drew. If I could meet him and Drew or either one, I mean, I'd love to meet any of the other recipients, but Luke Kuechly is just that guy. He's just one of these guys that hypes up everything, but keeps it humble. He's just fun. He's goofy. I've seen him in the practices that we had with Fan Fest and things like that. He's just been that person. Like, the fans love him. So going in right away, another first ballot, like, just wow, just extremely awesome, extremely proud of Luke. You guys have any comments about Luke?
Well, I'll definitely go ahead and say something because I know I saw him firsthand playing against the Saints, and we were definitely afraid of him in that defense because he, like you said, cerebral. He had come out with 18 interceptions. That's very difficult to accumulate in that short span of time for a linebacker. I'm going to put him up in the rare air of Ray Lewis, of Mike, Dick Buckus, and Mike Singletary. Those middle linebackers, guys that are like, if you had a Mount Rushmore of middle linebackers, his face would definitely be on one of them, because even though his career was cut a little bit short because of the concussions and he retired early, he laid down a foundation of a resume that most guys wouldn't get in their 10, 15, 20-year career, some guys. And it's just incredible what he's done. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done with the Super Bowl. But that magical year, 2015, was even on my side. And I'm not a Carolina Panther fan. I really still like Cam Newton, and I like Luke Kuechly. And I still was rooting for them in the Super Bowl. So I was like, hoping they would win, because I really don't like Denver at all. And I wanted them to win, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But again, you just saw the talent on the field. And then, like you said, what an even better man off the field. to do the things, with the foundation, with the hospital, with the heart stuff. It's just, yeah, more deserving. No one more deserving to get into the Hall of Fame to go alongside a Drew Brees, a Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. This is a really excellent lineup, and it probably wouldn't be as great as it is if it didn't have another big name like Luke Kuechly in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to say before we go to the next couple, and I know we're at time, so I'm gonna make it quick. I still remember that last concussion and them carting him off, and he was crying like he had just cleared the previous concussion like 2 games before. He was being concussed back to back, and it was like for his health, he knew I have to go. I have to go and step away from the game because I'm a father, I'm a husband. And this has been real. I know that the fans love me, but the fans are not there at night when I'm having bad headaches or I can barely focus on my vision or I'm in pain, because the show is now over, but I'm at home having to deal with everything that occurred during the show. And the body is still the human body. No matter what conditioning you use, concussions, you can never condition for a concussion. Remember that. That is the brain shaking inside of the cranial cavity. There is no training to make it stronger or anything. It is dangerous and it could be life altering permanently. So he stepped away, but every Panthers fan I know was watching that game. And I remember in the group chat that I'm with on our Facebook thing, we were all crying. We were like, that's going to be it. We literally were like, that's it. He's crying because he knows this is it. Me and my wife have already had this conversation. I've already had like 3 or 4 concussions in the last year. And now this is a back-to-back. And I just cleared. My wife and I have already talked. This is it. Goodbye, fans. And thank you. That's what the tears were for. And we all knew it. So congratulations, first ballot. It's definitely happy tears now. I'm super excited for Luke. As we run through here, Larry Fitzgerald, Arizona Cardinal. He's going in. Drafted in 2004 by the Steelers, though. But 17 years in Arizona. That's why they chose the Bird game to play. I think I'm right in saying both teams usually have an inductee that plays in the Hall of Fame game, correct? Okay.
Sometimes, most of the time.
Most of the time, okay. 11 Pro Bowls for him. One of the greatest postseason runs in NFL history from Larry Fitzgerald. Mr. Bird Gang himself, 2008 playoffs, 30 catches, 546 yards, and 7 touchdowns. This dude played the game all by himself, y'all. He scored 49 points by himself. 546 yards, 30 catches.
I got to interlude right there. Let me say this. There is no way that they even get to the Super Bowl without Larry Fitzgerald on that run. As a matter of fact, in that game, he put them in contention to win the game. If it wasn't for that last drive with Ben Roethlisberger and Santonio Holmes, if it wasn't for that last drive, they would have won that game. And then, again, shout out to Larry Fitzgerald, man. You one of the greatest to ever do it, brother, at wide receiver.
He's ranked second in NFL history in both career receptions at 1,432 and career receiving at 17,492, only behind Jerry Rice. What a history. I mean, wide receiver. That position is so pivotal, and Larry made it look effortless. I remember he lost his mom during that time. He also went back to school and got his degree. They had him doing, I think, University of Phoenix commercials for a while. He was doing that. And then, sadly, Larry lost his dad a couple of weeks ago as well. So right as he's now being inducted, now his both parents have now transcended since his football career began.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. You wish your parents would be there for all your success, especially going to the Hall of Fame. It's a rarity that a lot of football players in their lifetime don't experience. But he deserved it. He did. I mean, second to Jerry Rice in receptions. Oh, that's big. Dude, that's Hall of Fame right there. I know we've had a lot of conversations about people and them being inducted to the Hall of Fame nowadays, that we should have tiers in the Hall of Fame based on where they can go in, because now it's becoming a participation trophy thing. But anyway, um, I think he really did deserve that. Um, was he first ballot?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
Was that first ballot? So this is the first time he made the ballot out of all those years.
I think so. When did he retire? Because you're allowed 5 years before you become eligible.
I think he retired 5 years ago.
Yeah, like I thought it was 2013.
No.
Yeah, it's like Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson retired, and 5 years after he retired, he went right in. So I think he did retire in 13. Remember, he was without a team for a while. He did not play football. He didn't officially retire until. Yeah, I think he didn't officially retire until 2000. He might have officially retired in 2021.
He played his final game in 2020.
Yeah, so he probably retired in 21.
But actually they said he never officially retired. That's what's coming up. He never officially retired because he said that he doesn't like to use the word retirement, preferring to view it as transitioning into new phases.
So he signed his paperwork.
He retired. Yeah, he retired.
They said he just rather called it quits, which he never had a retirement press conference or anything. People be doing.
So he signed the paperwork. Let's just put it that way. He signed the paperwork.
The NFL knows he's retired.
They know.
Otherwise he wouldn't have been in the Hall of Fame. Trust me, because that's part of the eligibility.
The crazy thing is, this next person he's probably the record breaker for the oldest. Adam Vinatieri was 48 years old when he announced his retirement and played in 2021, but he played his last game 2 years before at the age of 47, 46, 47. Just weeks before his 47th birthday is what they're saying, before sitting out the entire 2020 season, prior to making his official retirement announcement. But Adam V is going in, guys. He's going in. Primary team was the Patriots as well as the Colts, is what we all remember him by. And from 2006 to 2019, out of South Dakota State in 96, 24-year career as the most clutch football kicker in NFL history. 10 seasons in New England, won 3 Super Bowls. Then he had the kicking game-winning field goal in the final seconds of 2 of those Super Bowls. In 2006, he joined the Colts, playing 14 seasons with them and winning a 4th ring as a Super Bowl contender in 2000. Excuse me, I don't know what year they won it, but anyway, then
2007.
Okay, I was gonna say 6, but I'm like, that's not right. Then he was a 3-time first team All-Pro. He retired as the NFL's leading kicker, scorer, 2,673 points, and an all-time leader in field goals made, which was 599. Adam Vinatieri, kicker. Guys, I mean, is this what y'all is it deserving? Sometimes you guys
without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, and it's rarefied air to have greatness like that, because you only have 4 kickers that have played throughout the NFL history that are in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be number 5, I believe.
Yep.
And so it's just incredible to see what he's done. Again, like you said, clutch kicker. I mean, Adam Vinatieri won games. I mean, that first Super Bowl against the greatest show on turf, that wasn't won by Tom Brady. That game was won by Adam Vinatieri. The one they played against, what was the other one? Was it the Eagles or the Carolina Panthers?
Panthers.
Against the Panthers. Yeah, yes, exactly. And he kicked the ball and won that game. Because again, Panthers probably could have won that game too.
Yep.
That was a very close game.
One of their better teams too.
They won it by the
Yep. And so I just think that Adam is well deserved. He's got 4 rings on his hand, so it's hard to keep a guy like that out. And when you can show your whole hand and wear rings on almost all of all your fingers except a thumb. Right, exactly. So well deserved, and I'm happy for him. I was a fan of him as well as a kicker. I'm not fans of many kickers except New Orleans Saints. The Morton Anderson. just because he's a senior.
Who was one of the guys? He really had a good connection with Morton Anderson, and he was really thrilled when he overtook him. He said that was one. He said he never thought he would ever do that because that was his idol. That was his idol, right? That was his idol, right? So that's a good.
So definitely kudos to him. And the last person we have for the 2026 is our senior inductee. I don't even know how many ballots he got on before. Like, how many times you get voted before you get in? But it's for this one's for our mamas and daddies and aunties and stuff for real. Roger Craig, running back, senior inductee, 49ers. He played during our lifetime, but he retired when we were so young. Well, actually, he played for the 49ers from 83 to 90. So that's our entire education year, like literally. What you say, B?
That's when you guys were young. I was watching football. Like, I know who Craig.
I was getting played with the flat top doing this.
Yeah, because he was 90 was like freshman year of high school. So 83, we're like in third grade. So it's all of your formative years he was playing. And then he played for the Raiders in 91 and then left with Minnesota Vikings in me and James' senior year of high school, 92-93. Drafted by the 49ers, second round of the 83 draft. He redefined that running back position in Bill Walsh's West Coast offense. In 1985, he became the first player in NFL history to record 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in a single season. And he was a 3-time Super Bowl winner, champion with the 49ers, and 4-time Pro Bowler. He was named the NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 1988. This was after rushing for 1,502 yards. And then he spent his final 3 seasons with the Raiders and the Vikings before retiring in 1993. So he's been retired now 33 years. That's a long time.
I'm glad he got in. But before I talk about him, I want to touch what you said about him being the first running back to have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. For anybody out there that knows a bit of trivia, there's only 3 players to ever do that. So you should know who one of the other ones is. If you can name the 3rd player, you'll just have a lot of pride. We're not giving away anything on the show, but yes, you'll have a lot of pride. Yes, but who do you think, Sonya?
McCaffrey must be one of them.
He is one. Yes. Who's the other player? Marshall Faulk is the other one.
Yeah, okay, I was about to ask you. Yep, I was going to say it's not Brandon Faulk because I always want to say Brandon Faulk. It's Marshall.
And Marshall Faulk did it a ton of times.
He only did it once. He only did it once. He only did it once. He did it twice. Yes, but you would think that because Marshall Faulk, he was MVP one of those years. And 3 of those years straight, he was Offensive Player of the Year. So that's another guy we can talk about. He went first ballot as well. But back to Roger Craig. Roger Craig was just excellent for that offense. He was a high-stepping. He was known for running the ball with his knees in the air. So there's this one play he's playing against the Rams. He tore off everybody and just knocked. It was just an incredible play. Excellent that he got in as a senior. I hated them, the 49ers, because again, when the NFC, it was the NFC West. The Saints were in the NFC West. There was no NFC South. Yes. So it was unfortunate that we got beat down most times by them, except when we had the Dome Patrol. Every now and then we steal a game every now and then. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for them, and I have a lot of respect for Roger Craig, and I'm glad he got in. Congratulations to Roger Craig and to all the inductees.
Yeah, I was.
By the way, Sonia, I'm kind of disappointed in you because when you introduce Luke Kuechly, you just got to go Luke Kuechly. That's what you got to do. That's what you should introduce him as.
So I was going to do that at the end of the show, but thank you for that because we're almost there. But I was looking up, but thank you, B. I was looking up to see the eligibility as we get ready to wrap up. This has been a great show, and it's so cool that both me and James have inductees. This is an awesome, awesome camaraderie moment between us. We have a side
note on that. I didn't go to any Hall of Fame games. That didn't turn me on, but I've been to an inducting. When Barry Sanders was inducted to the Hall of Fame, I went, which was also coincidental because one of my favorite quarterbacks also went to the Hall of Fame that same year, and that was John Elway. So I got really a double treat by going to that inductee Hall of Fame session. So when you see two of your heroes in football going to the Hall of Fame, it's awesome. I had they used to do the double. They had the first two ballot Hall of Famers. They would put them on a sheet of paper while they had their pictures, and then you would go and get them signed. I had them both signed by both of the players, and it got burned up in one of my garage fire. I should never had it on the garage in the first place, but that would have been worth a lot. But it hurt me more. So
that would. I'm sorry.
All right, B.
Yeah, Detroit is just 89 miles from Canton, so he's right up the street. I didn't realize how everything's here until I flew, and I was like, oh, there's still the Great Lakes over there. Oh, that big old Ohio River. Okay, everything is a bowl up here. All of the Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio, it's a bowl because it's like the water is up at the top, and all of those they just drive straight in. Like everything's and Wisconsin as well. Green Bay is the other one. You drive all the way across all of them. But I want to tell you guys, NFL players are actually eligible to appear on their modern era Pro Football Hall of Fame ballot for 20 years. So they have to have 20 annual voting ballots. I didn't realize that. So they got to be on this ballot every year until they get 20 votes, basically. It's a mandatory waiting period. They say 1 to 5 years post-retirement. Player must be fully retired by 5 consecutive seasons before they are first eligible to be nominated. For example, a player that retires in 2020 just becomes eligible this year that we just saw. And then this year's 6 through 25 post-retirement, once you're eligible, you come into this modern era candidate pool, and they remain on the the modern era candidate ballot for 20 total voting cycles covering years 6 through 25 after the final game that they've played. So each year, any fan, writer, or football official can nominate them. I didn't know fans could. Their name goes into a preliminary nomination list, typically around 100 to 130 players, which the selection committee trims down to 50, then from that 50 to 25, then from there to 15 finalists. And then the senior category, which is what Mr. Craig has gone into, if the player has not been selected to the Hall of Fame during their 20-year modern era window, then they drop off the regular ballot and transition into the senior category. And senior category candidates have completed 25 years ago. It has passed before they can come up. And they no longer are voted on by the full committee, but they're voted on alongside basically senior blue ribbon committee reviews that actually case to potentially nominate them as a senior finalist. So, Mr. Craig, you got in there, and kudos, but you weren't first ballot, but you've been persistent, and somebody wanted you in there, and it says a lot to your perseverance that you are in there even with the blue ribbon votes. That's all.
It's been over 33 years since he last touched the football.
I think the unfortunate case about Roger Craig is that he came up in a time where there was absolutely a lot of really good running backs. Mm-hmm. And yes, he did play for a Super Bowl champion team. However, he was a cog in that wheel. So there was a lot of people around him that were great. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, a bunch of offensive linemen. He had great tight ends. Brent Jones, I believe, was one of the tight ends that they had at the time. So I mean, he had a defense. That whole offense worked very well with everybody that played in there. So I think that's what got him overlooked. The combination of that, he was on a great team, and the fact that at the time that he was playing, there was a lot of really good running backs at that time. So it's unfortunate. I'm glad that they did give him to the Hall of Fame, though he needs to be recognized for that. Like you said, the 1,000 season. So because he was the first person to do it. So that in itself should have really got him into the Hall of Fame sooner, to tell you the truth. And
he lived to receive his flowers above ground. So
that's what I was. That's
He still looks pretty good too.
The fact that y'all made somebody wait that long is just, it makes me a little sad because, like you said, life is so short, and the fact that at least he's still here to see it.
Well, I mean, let me say this: the criteria, like B said, it's extremely hard, and you got to be somebody at least having 10,000 yards rushing, some yards receiving. I mean, you look at the greats that are in there: Walter Payton, that came after him into the Hall of Fame; Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson. These guys, their numbers far exceed his. Even though some of these guys didn't even win Super Bowls, they just had astronomical careers. And so, and then you got to put other players in that aren't running backs. And so it's just hard. That waiting list becomes longer and longer and longer because the criteria is hard. And even wide receivers, it's even harder for them. I mean, you got guys that waited for, Andre, not Rison, but what's the guy? What's his name for Buffalo?
Johnson.
Andre Reed.
Oh, Andre Reed.
It took him a long time to get in, and he had outstanding numbers and went to 4 Super Bowls. It took him a long time to get in. It's just hard. And so I'm glad, again, like I said, above ground, able to receive his flowers. When they opened the door and I saw his face, he was surprised and I was surprised. I was like, what? Me too. I was surprised too. I was like,
you remember me?
I was happy for
That's what he said. Right.
You remember?
I mean, it's just tough. And sometimes, just in life in general, it's okay to celebrate other people. And then you see people that's persevered no matter what it is. It could be athletes, it could be doctors, lawyers, it could be janitors, whatever you're persevering in to be great. You should be appreciated and celebrated by others. And so it's really cool to see everybody go in the hall. Is definitely not a joke with the greatness that we have, Bernard. You might want to do your research, but thank you for your comment. But anyway, guys, that's all we have time for tonight. This has been really, really a great show with my brothers here, James and B. Y'all make sure you join them in the morning at 8 a.m. sharp. They have the debate show with Jack Hirsch. Also, the 4 p.m. Legal Score will be an encore presentation. And then Sunday is where football is back. So when will you guys transition into the 2-hour segment, B? I know Sunday morning.
Well, we're talking about it right now because we got like hour changes that have to be done too, because remember, it's going to be a 2-hour show once it goes into the big football show.
Yep.
And it's going to run into Keith's show, and I want to talk to Keith about that because he does what he did last year. And because I like Keith's input too on the show, and he has another show, so I don't want him to feel that we're kicking him off the show. Also, this weekend, the 1SG3 Toe show will start at 5:00 this week to talk about the signing of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, plus a lot of Lions stuff and a little bit of NFL stuff. So that'll be on tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Awesome. And then BW Flicks is Tuesday at 8, guys. Thursday, we have the Pink Fan First Super Fan Show at 8 p.m. Eastern. She's had a lot of great guests on there. Had Carolina Mike on there last week. And the Deep Cover and King of New York show, you guys got to go back and catch the recap of the BW Flicks and everything. And just appreciate everybody that has been on tonight. Thank everybody for the likes, loves, and comments. And thank you guys for a great show and have an amazing week. And I will be back live next Wednesday once I get back from Canton. And guys, thanks for accommodating me tonight. And thanks for the clip too, B. Y'all have a great weekend.